Hey everyone, this is Chris Collins for Mobile Development Frameworks 2, and this is my Project 2 app. Start off here, have everything wrapped inside a navigation controller, and then we have come over here and we have our Twitter API here, everything set up with the collection view set up here, and then here we have the collection view cell. And what I've done here is put an image view to display the image inside this cell, and then placed it to where it's 150 by 150, and then below that I added or left a little room in the cell for the label to show up. Then that way there's proper spacing between this cell and the next one down below it. We come over, then I just brought this image view over, but then since it's all on its own here in this page, I just ended up increasing it to fit a large amount of space on the screen, and then also added the label on top of that. If you come in here, have our Twitter data, which pulls in all the information that we're going to use for the array. Pulls this data in. We set up a user and an image that we're going to use there. And then if we go on over to the detail view controller, then we brought in for the detail page there, we brought in those two, the image and the label, connected those in. And then we have, of course, our details that pulls out the information for the array. Then we go to our custom view cell, which is the first collection view there. As you can see here, it pulls in from the UI collection view cell, and then also we have those images and labels linked in with our outlets. Then we have here, bring in the view controller and the collection view delegate and the collection view data source, and then also have that connected in with our IB outlet to the collection view. And then here we're setting up our variable for our array and setting that to the Twitter data that we saw over here on our Twitter data.swift file. Then here we bring in the information for our account store that pulls in this information from our social for the Twitter API. And then down here we start pulling in our information for the collection view with our index path, and then our view and our image. And then here ended up leaving in the information. I know it wasn't required, but pulled in the information for the timer so that the notification goes off, and I have it set for 5 seconds to where when you close the app, then this notification will pop up and just say thank you for using the Twitter app. I just thought that would be neat to add that in, leave it in there since we went over it this week, and just get used to using that already. Then here we have our Twitter function, which sets up our account type with our account store, and then from there we have a request access excuse me, to the accounts with type, and then we set up our boolean. So if we have access granted, then we have our account that pulls in the account store, and then we have that set to 0. And then our current users, we have that set up to where it'll pull in the actual API URL here. And then from there we have our SLR request and our information, pulling in all the information we need for the Twitter API And then we have here our alert, which brings in the title and message. And then have our dictionary set up. And then we have our for loop that will go through all those, the name, the profile image, will loop through all those in the JSON data and loop through that and pull it back in and fill in our information here for our name and profile image URL. And then come on down, we have our set up our user, which pulls in the Twitter data, which links back to our Twitter array. And then we set up our information for our UI image, and then up here for our name. And then down here we set up our information for our table view. So we go back here, you can see everything's set up and looks nice, but when I run it, the only thing pulls up is this main collection view page, but this doesn't show up. So there's something I'm missing in there that's keeping that from linking to where it'll pull this up. And since therefore this doesn't pull up, then there's nothing there to click to do the segue on into our detail view. So something in there I was missing. I looked through it over and over trying to find where it's at, and of course there's no issues. The code all works, so there's no nothing there to debug. I even went through and tried different things there, and for some reason I just looked over or missing that piece. But that's my app for the week, and